Hey everyone, today we're in Fort Collins, Colorado at the Grandview Cemetery. And this is quite a large cemetery and it's well maintained. The sprinklers have been going, there's lots of flowers planted, and there's quite a bit of people in here walking and exercising and just enjoying the beauty of the cemetery, which is awesome to see. But we're here to see one famous actress, but in the process, passed a couple things that caught my eye, and I'll show you those as well. Now, if you'd like to find this final resting place, the best thing I can tell you is head to Section E. And this is about in the middle of Section E on the west side. Maybe look for this hotel, if I'm saying that right, hotel. But it's about in the middle of the west side. And who we're looking for is Michele Carey Strebel Nee Henson. Quite a name there. She also has a Lee that's not listed. But she was a famous actress, and she's probably most known for her role with John Wayne in Dorado. But she was born February 26, 1942, and died November 21st, 2018. And at the bottom it says, a beautiful woman. Michele Carey was born on February 26, 1942 to Stanley Willard Henson Jr. and Thelma Burnell Henson in Annapolis, Maryland. Her father had been a NCAA wrestling champion, and he was the current wrestling instructor at the U.S. Naval Academy at the time. The family then moved to Rochester, Minnesota, where her father continued medical studies. Michele was a piano prodigy who won a national contest at the Chicago Music Festival at age 13 and performed with the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra. The family eventually moved to Fort Collins, Colorado, where her father practiced as a physician, becoming Fort Collins' first open-heart surgeon. Michele graduated from Fort Collins High School in 1960. After high school, she moved to Los Angeles in 1964 to pursue her modeling career. She had success as a model, but she was more interested in acting. It didn't take long before she caught the eye of Hollywood producers. Her first acting role came on the television series Uncle in 1964. She went on to appear in various television series such as The Wild Wild West, Mission Impossible, Love American Style, Gunsmoke, and A Man Called Sloan. She made her big screen debut in the kitsch classic How to Stuff a Wild Bikini in 1965. Perhaps one of her best-known roles to film viewers was Josephine Joey McDonald in the 1966 John Wayne Western, Dorado. Another film you may have seen her in was the 1968 Live a Little, Love a Little, starring Elvis Presley. She also starred in the 1970s Dirty Dingus McGee with Frank Sinatra. Throughout the 70s, she made television appearances in various popular television shows such as The $6 Million Man, Starsky and Hutch, and The Fall Guy. Michele was briefly married to her son's father in 1961. That was the only child that she ever had. She married again in the early 1980s to the man who would eventually adopt her son. Her next marriage came in the early 1990s to a businessman, and her last marriage was with another businessman named Fred G. Strebel in 1999. Michele Carey died at the age of 76 on November 21, 2018, and it's listed as natural causes in Newport Beach, California. Her father had died earlier that year, and her mother died in 2016. Her only child, Kevin Troy Schwenke, died in 2017. Now the sun is rising in the east, so I can't face this straight on or you're not going to be able to really see it, but this is a memorial statue that is honoring Fort Collins volunteer firemen. And so it's a neat little statue. It's a fireman holding a hose and a nozzle. He's got that kind of old school mustache, fire uniform, and helmet. And then down at the bottom is a large bell. And there are several volunteer firefighters here. And I may be pronouncing this name wrong, so if you're from here, please correct me. But Padre Fire Authority. And you can see that is one right there. Richard J. Gonzo or Gonzalez, August 22nd, 1960 to July 28th, 2003. And like I said, there are several here you can see This one has a fire engine on the back, and it's Hanson. And so you can see on the front, it's Hanson, Travis James, October 4th, 1974 to October 18th, 1987. And then Jerry down at the bottom, September 13th, 1956 to February 2nd, 1991. And it also has there's two of these, one right here and one over there. So I'm assuming, yeah, there's another one right there maybe. This little section, it's a neat little section. And this says the Powder, I'm not sure. Someone will have to help me out on that. But Arthur Ekdahl, 1934, and to 2017, Charles Albrant, in the line of duty, 1951, and he was a captain and passed in 2019. And it says courage, leadership, duty, and then down at the bottom, Charles Willis, 1929 fire chief, and 1929 to 1997, and then Thomas Fierce, he was a fire chief, was born in 1927 and died in 2004. And then this larger piece right here just says fireman. I think it's a neat little section though, and it kind of spreads out maybe from here as far as some of the firemen. And then right across from that is another memorial. You can see a lot of veteran markers right through here. And as I walk through the cemetery, there are a lot of World War II veterans, like this one right here. And some of them may have actually passed while in the theater. This is Charles C. Ray, Colorado, private first class in the 157th Infantry, 45th Division, World War II, June 28th, 1924 to August 16th, 1944. So that's right in that time period, just 20 years old or so. Almost 20, I guess, or a little over 20. But this is very striking. So this is a Grand Army of the Republic memorial. You can see the soldier up there holding his rifle, got a full beard, and he's in uniform there, dedicated to the Grand Army of the Republic by WRC, I think that says, May 30th, 1905. You can see a couple cross sabers there. Oh, and look here, someone's placed a little Buffalo Bill Cody thing on a dog chain, a little picture. But it's pretty neat. This is just a little veterans section right through here. And as I've walked through the cemetery, I've seen a lot of Grand Army of the Republic veterans, a lot of Civil War veterans, ones from all sorts of conflicts. And I like this one right here too. Union Pacific Steam, Jackson, Conductor Reed F., September 14th, 1954 to August 15th, 2009. And then eventually his loving wife will be laid to rest here. But you can see a train down at the bottom that says Union Pacific, and down at the bottom it says all aboard. So that's pretty neat. So this particular grave is in section 8, and it's right underneath a Christmas looking tree, just a pine tree. It's got some little bitty pine cones on it. I mean, little bitty. Just looks exactly like a big old Christmas tree. But this is Howard, and you can see on the left, Kate D., March 4th, 1852 to December 17th, 1920. And then Henderson C., September 16th, 1839 to December 13th, 1919. And it's a pretty large marker to find, just to kind of paint around and give you some surroundings here. And there's a golf course on this side and a golf course on that side. But if you swing around, then you can see here that he is a Medal of Honor recipient. And we'll brush this off here. Got some fallen things from the tree up above. Henderson Howard was a Civil War Congressional Medal of Honor recipient. He was a first sergeant in the U.S. Army. He was awarded the Medal of Honor as a corporal in Company B, 11th Pennsylvania Reserves for action at Glendale, Virginia on June 30th, 1862. His citation reads, "While pursuing one of the enemy's sharpshooters, he encountered two others, whom he bayoneted hand-to-hand encounters, was wounded 3 times in action." Okay, this one is in section 1. You can see sort of a blue house over there, busy road, and then there's a golf course on this side with some sort of maintenance hut or restrooms or something, I'm not sure. But I wanted to find this one because I thought it was an interesting piece of history. This is Kreutzer. You can see a big mound of flowers. Of course, they're throughout the cemetery, but hopefully that helps you. And one other thing that I used to find it was just this road curving here. But this is Kreutzer. So you can see Mary M on the right, 1880 to 1967, and William R was 1877 to 1956. And we'll tell a little bit more about him because I think it's an interesting piece of history that all of us benefit from. William Kreutzer was the first U.S. Forest Ranger. In 1898, at the age of 22, he rode into Denver, Colorado on horseback looking for work. He saw an article in the Rocky Mountain News about the new forest reserves, which was the original name for national forest, seeking men to become range riders. At that time, the forests were under the U.S. Department of Interior and the WTC. His salary was $50 per month, and he was required to furnish his own horse, housing, food, and equipment. His first job was patrolling the Plum Creek Forest Reserve, now part of the Pike National Forest. He went on to have a long career and retired from the U.S. Forest Service in 1939 as Forest Supervisor of the Roosevelt National Forest. In tribute to him, a 13,230-foot mountain 4 miles east of Tin Cup, Colorado, is named Kreutzer Peak. So you can hear some lawn maintenance over here on the golf course, and then there's a golf range right over here, but this is more of like a practice golf course or actual golf course, I'm not sure. But there's also edgers going in the cemetery near where I was filming the last park ranger. And I've never had this happen, but I had a golf ball almost hit me in a cemetery. And I'm quite a ways in from the golf course, but it's kind of odd. Never had that happen before, but I thought, wonder how many times golf balls have struck headstones in here. So I'm not exactly sure what I think about a golf course being next to a cemetery. Maybe there needs to be more trees that are lining this. I don't know. I threw the golf ball back over there because there was some guys walking and I didn't know if it was from them or someone else. But they're walking along still looking for their ball. So I don't know. Maybe it was from someone else. So maybe this is quite common. I don't know. But it was an interesting experience. But I got back in the car because I wanted to look for more. I didn't want my car hit. So interesting. So thanks for joining me on this little cemetery tour. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next time.